Yeah.
And we have Godzilla, the series episode 5 review. This one was a bit of a different episode.
Yes. No enemy kaiju this episode. You got some drone-ish fly robots, bee robots, if you want to
Yeah.
say. But they're small, they're not giant. This was like a Godzilla only episode, if you want to say, for as far as kaiju go.
Yeah. So basically, they're at the Heat base, which is just a rundown like seaport, and Godzilla just starts swimming off, and he finds this like homing beacon. So they're
And
like,
he goes nuts. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
so
going
like,
nuts.
So like, what's going on? Turns out that there's like this Elon Musk type figure, Cameron Winter, and he's developed these nanobots that can control things. So he wants to test it on Godzilla. So
they lure him to like a pile of fish too in that opening scene.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, did these bees inject him with like a sedative or something, or did they draw his blood? Because he seemed pretty set on using Godzilla and making an army of monsters later on in the episode.
Yeah. So his goals were a little weird because it seemed like they almost put like a hearing aid in his ear at some point, but then
it was like similar to King Kong Escapes when they put the thing in his ear. Yeah,
but then like it seemed like it was like releasing some type of chemical into him, but like it was like a radio wave thing that was controlling his actions.
Yeah, because Godzilla's acting all erratic, and all these things are why. And then they kind of figure out that it was Cameron Winter's base that all this signal was coming to, so they go there, and they discover it's Cameron Winter, and it turns out he used to be... Was he like a roommate?
Yeah, he was Nick's roommate.
Yeah. And so they were old college chums, and Nick's kind of like, oh, this freaking guy. Like, he's not happy to see him. It's not a fun reunion.
So he's basically giving them like the tour of the island, and Godzilla's still kind of like swimming off, doing his own thing. He's kind of like attacking his Cameron Winter's stuff. He's on their way to the base, but he's not there yet. So he's showing them a tour of the facility. He's trying to recruit basically all of Heat to work for him.
Yeah.
And one of basically the main plot points of this is that it comes to light, not that it should even matter, but Randy didn't graduate college.
Yeah, he got kicked out.
He got kicked out of college. So for some reason, he's the only person who takes the bait on this whole like offer thing.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we could get you back in college.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I can pull
some strings.
So he's like, oh, well, like this plot is like a plot that doesn't make any sense in 2023, where it's just like most people accept that college is just a completely useless status symbol. So it's just like, yeah, I'm going to get you into college. I'm willing to hire you myself, though, but you can go to college and work for somebody else.
Yeah.
That'll pay you a lot of money for some reason. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So eventually, Nick, everybody rejects the offer. Nick's like, this guy's bad, don't trust him. And Randy's like, I don't know, I think Godzilla might run off and try to do something.
Yeah.
So I think I should take him up on his offer. So he
takes the transmitter from Cameron.
Yeah.
And he gives it to N.I.G.E.L, and he hacks N.I.G.E.L and uses N.I.G.E.L to install the transmitter in Godzilla, and he gets caught red-handed by everybody.
Almost instantly.
Literally instantly, because I can't think of the dude's name, the scientist that makes N.I.G.E.L, like, get your hands off of N.I.G.E.L, and they get in a little bit of an argument, and then they kind of figure out that he's got this remote, and they crush the remote thinking the remote's what controls it, but it turns out the remote had like nothing in it. It was just like a prop.
It's the unplugged-in Player 2 controller.
Yeah. Cameron was just like, use this controller and you can control them, but there's no batteries in it.
Yeah.
It was literally just like nothing. It was like wires, and for somebody that's kind of techie, Randy, you'd think he would have checked that out.
Yeah.
um,
So this is where like the like almost like the motivation and the plot kind of just like twist. So at first he's like, "Oh, I want to be making like my own super weapons and big kaiju monsters and control the fight," and then it turns into, "I'm going to make Godzilla attack military bases so they buy more weapons from me."
yes. Yeah.
So
like, I'm the one that can protect you.
yeah, it kind of really didn't make any much sense in my opinion, because he was like, "Who do you think's going to sell them the weapons that he's destroying?"
Yeah, yeah.
So he sicks Godzilla on this military base. He starts destroying it, and then they obviously have no answer to Godzilla at all. So the Randy comes in and he hacks. Well, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna break into his facility."
Yeah, so they break back in again, and they get caught immediately by security. But Randy ends up hacking his cyber flies and pretty much recording Cameron's confession, saying that he was the one behind Godzilla attacking the military and everything. But he didn't know that, so he's like, "Oh, who's gonna believe you?" And then Randy's like, "Oh, I got the military here with me," and then it was all recorded on camera.
Yeah, and then Randy goes to community college.
Yeah, it ends with yeah, he walks in and the professor's like, "Oh, you're," because he was about to get kicked out of community college at the beginning of the episode too, because he just wasn't showing up because everything was like below his knowledge. Like he's like, "Yeah, I don't need to be taking algebra or you know."
Which, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand this is a kid's cartoon, but that's like not how colleges work. Like, if you can show that you have like a knowledge base, usually they'll give you credits.
Yeah. Yeah, usually if you just do the test, show for the test, and do the work online, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, during the episode, they used Nigel to help get the transmitter out of Godzilla's ear, and he got knocked when Godzilla was acting erratic, and then he fell to the bottom of the ocean. But then at the end, you see Nigel surface, and they're like, "Oh, Nigel, you made it! You're still alive!" And then he just kind of kills over and dies and sinks back into the ocean again.
Yeah.
The Kenny moment of Nigel.
Yeah. And that's episode 5. Super sweet, super simple. If you guys watch this, just like if this episode came out today, like everybody, you'd think that they were making fun of Elon Musk just with like everything that this guy does. It's just like so. It's like a parody. It is so funny. It's like a mixture between Musk and Bezos, like the stuff that he does.
Yeah. That's literally what he is. Like he's like the world's richest guy. He like runs all these different types of companies and has his money and everything.
Yeah, it just like, man, even in 2000, they just knew the type.